Oh my god, this movie sucks so bad. But before I get into the review and the rant on this shitty movie, I just want to tell you guys, if you're not already subscribed to Manavision, or if you're subscribed, basically, and this goes out to you, Rail Dross and Israel Milton, you guys need to watch Manavision's latest video on this shitty generation and how this generation is just god awful and has some of the worst taste imaginable. Alright, some of the worst opinions imaginable. Alright, and the link is going to be in the description box. So, yeah, I recommend anybody, even if you're a subscriber of mine or you're just checking out this video for the first time, check in the description box and check out Manavision's latest video on how shitty this generation is. And the reason I wanted to bring up that is because this generation does not take a shit on Iron Man 3 like it should. Alright? Back in the day, if we had shitty movies like this, they would be ripped a new asshole. Alright? You could bring up Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, where they go back in time to ancient Japan and how shitty that movie was. You could bring up Joel Schumacher's Batman and Robin, Catwoman. You could bring up Tank Girl, Ang Lee's 2003 Hulk movie, and all those movies would get ripped a new asshole. Dragon Ball Evolution, whether it was comic books, superhero movies, anime, manga, if it was a shitty movie, people ripped it apart. And this movie does not get ripped apart, and I wonder why, because this movie is a piece of shit that completely botched the fucking extremist storyline. Alright? Now, before I get into the real rant, I just want to talk about, this movie and how I am so fucking sick of Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark Iron Man. I mean, nothing against Robert Downey Jr. personally, but the way that he is in these movies, I'm just going to be honest. The only good Iron Man movie is the first one from 2008. That was a great movie, but it was action-packed, it was cool. Tony Stark wasn't as big of a douche as he is in, like, Iron Man 2 and 3. Especially 3. He just sucks in this movie. He's a fucking asshole in this movie. Iron Man 2, I might even do a rant on that at a later date. But that movie didn't piss me off as much as this one. This movie absolutely sucked. Because while Iron Man 2, they fucked up Whiplash, with Mickey Rourke. And I thought it was poor casting. On top of that, they were trying to get ready for the Avengers movies, so they were pretty much, making Iron Man 2 all about the Avengers, with Scarlett Johansson, Samuel L. Jackson, all that good stuff, basically going back to, what Tony Stark's father's, vision was and his purpose and all that good stuff. But this movie, it had no excuse, because this movie was supposed to be based off the extremist storyline. This movie had no excuse to suck. Alright, and it absolutely sucked. Alright, they fucked up the Mandarin. They made fucking Gwyneth Paltrow, of all people, played fucking Pepper. Seriously. I mean, she's basically, she was like the new Iron Man in the movie. Spoiler alert, I don't care. I don't want you to see this movie. I want to give you spoilers, without a heads up, pretty much. Because I don't want anyone to see this movie. I want this movie to get a lot of hate and criticism and bashing, just like Joel Schumacher's Batman and Robin, just like Dragon Ball Evolution, just like all these other shitty movies out there, that get fucking too much hate. And this movie, the only good thing this movie has going for it is the fucking, the special effects and stuff like that. I mean, that's the only thing this movie has going for it. I mean, this movie sucks. First of all, Tony Stark is a completely unlikable character in this movie. He's completely unlikable. He's not funny. Alright, he's not like that cool, arrogant, cocky bastard who's actually a likable character. Andrew Garfield in Spider-Man. Or Dante from Devil May Cry 3. He's not a likable character. He's not a cocky, arrogant character who's likable. He's a complete douchebag and he's a fucking toolbox. And he's not funny. Alright? Basically, the movie starts off when he's in a fucking, this 1999 New Year's Eve party. And he basically promises this annoying nerd faggot that, he's gonna check out his shit, and he's gonna go up to the roof and whatnot. And he basically, long story short, he doesn't go up to the roof. That nerdy white guy is left up there alone, and he has this fucking sand in his vagina. So basically, he wants to get revenge on Tony Stark and blah 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 blah. And the movie is really boring. It's just a whiny emo fucking hipster nerdy movie type thing. It's kind of like, I wouldn't even put this guy, this faggot, on the level of Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I wouldn't even put him on that level, because at least Jamie Foxx's Max Dillon was a likable character. He wasn't like likable, but he was like, you had sympathy for him, because you felt like, yeah, he never gets noticed. He gets treated like shit at his job, which is why he becomes Electro in the movie. But in this movie, it's like you kind of feel sorry for him, but at the same time, it's just like, all the characters in this movie are unlikable, completely unlikable. You don't feel sympathy for anybody. I mean, when Tony Stark, I remember this one scene where he basically, gets on the news and he tells the so-called Mandarin, this terrorist, that where his address is, and that if he wants to fight, bring it. And then all of a sudden, they basically do like a fucking destroy his house. They destroy his house in Malibu, California. I'm like, he deserved it too, because he's a fucking idiot. He's fucking stupid. And Tony Stark was never this much of an asshole in the comics. Making him a little cocky like how he was in Iron Man 1 was okay. That's cool. But he went overboard in Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3. And another thing I hated about this movie was they turned War Machine into the Iron Patriot. That's another thing about this movie that fucking sucks. It's fucking shit, and people actually accept it, because when I look on Amazon.com and not IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes and stuff like that, this movie does not even get the criticism that it deserves. There are people who actually defend this movie, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you defend this piece of shit? What is wrong with your taste? What is wrong with your opinions that you would defend this piece of shit child abortion of a fucking movie? Seriously, Iron Man 3 sucks. Anybody who likes this movie, your opinion should be known and void. Your opinion should be known and void, because you fucking suck if you like this movie, if you defend this movie. This movie was a piece of shit, and from a true Iron Man fan like myself, this fucking movie sucked dick, and I've always wanted to do a complete rant on this movie. I remember seeing this movie opening on Saturday when it first opening weekend. I was like, oh my god. I remember the audience applauding at this movie. How the fuck can you applaud this movie? If this were the 90s, no one would have applauded this, because in the 90s, people had better taste and entertainment in general. Fuck this movie, and fuck the fans who like it, because you're part of the problem. You continue to spend your money on these shitty movies, and that's why we keep getting these shitty movies, so you can go fuck yourself and fuck your opinion. But fucking Iron Patriot, seriously. Iron fucking... That's not even the Iron... going on. I do like Don Cheadle as Rhodey. He does a good job. I actually liked him better than Terrence Howard. But they don't give him shit to do in this movie. They really don't. And, it just... This... you basically get, like, so much filler in this movie. It's... Basically, one part that really just pissed me off was when, Tony Stark, he basically, it's Christmas time, it's winter time, and he's basically like, he ends up in this small town, and, he's basically ends up in this kid, he's trying to fix his suit and stuff like that. And, he's just a tool to the kid. I mean, he tries to be, there's some parts where he tries to be nice to the kid, but he just comes off as a tool, He's just he's just completely unlikable in this movie. I don't care. He fucking sucks in this movie. And this movie, even if you're a casual Iron Man fan, if you're a casual viewer, how the fuck can you get into this movie? Because this movie is so boring, and it's filled with so much filler. I mean, it really fucking sucks, man. But it's just he tries to test out his the new Mark suit that he has. It's just, it's like, honestly, I almost fell asleep during the movie. I had to try to keep myself awake when I first saw it opening weekend. Um, but it's just like, oh, and the thing that just really pissed me off was how they portrayed the Mandarin. He's basically this fucking commercial goofball terrorist. He's not even a real terrorist. He's just some fucking actor. He's not the Mandarin. He's not even. It's one thing. First of all, it's stupid if they want to try to go in the Christopher Nolan direction and make it realistic, without giving the Mandarin rings and stuff like that. Trying to make him like a realistic villain, which they didn't even do that right. It's one thing. I would actually give more credit to Bane in The Dark Knight Rises over the fucking Mandarin and Iron Man 3. The Mandarin and Iron Man 3 fucking sucked. He sucked. Yes, he did. Deal with it. He sucked. And you suck if you liked it. If you thought it was funny, you suck too. Your opinion sucks. Moving on, you find out that nerdy white guy from the beginning of the movie, he's so emo and fucking butthurt that, Tony Stark didn't give him attention. So now he basically wants to, he tries to kill Rhodey, and he tries to, take over the world. He's a fucking cliche villain. He's a cliche terrorist. He's a fucking pussy, man. And, he basically gets his ass kicked by fucking Gwyneth Paltrow at the end of the movie. Don't watch this movie. It's spoiler. He's going to get his ass kicked by Gwyneth Paltrow. I mean, I tried watching this movie again for the second time because I was like, maybe there's something I missed. If all these idiots actually praise it, or they say, oh, it's not that bad, there are worse comic book movies out there, worse superhero movies out there, it's not that bad, on Rotten Tomatoes and on fucking Amazon.com, all the good reviews that this movie gets, I'm like, seriously, this movie is way worse than Iron Man 2. Are you fucking kidding me? At least Iron Man 2 had a reason to be filled with a lot of filler. They were building up the Avengers movie. This movie had no excuse. This movie was supposed to be about it was basically based off the Extremist storyline, which in my opinion, I thought that was overrated, but still, it was way better than this fucking film. They get you all hyped up. I remember seeing the trailers and being excited that the Mandarin was going to be in this movie and shit like that. And, a lot of people complain that the Mandarin isn't Asian like he is in the comics and even the animated series from the 90s. But, to me, it was the portrayal of the Mandarin that really pissed me off. No words can't describe how fucking angry I was when I first saw this movie. And when I re-saw this movie, I'm like, what the fuck? This movie is not even funny. Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., fucking quit being Iron Man. You need to quit being Iron Man just like fucking Hugh Jackman needs to quit being Wolverine. That's why I don't give a shit how people say that the new X-Men movie was so good that came out. I don't give a shit. I'm so burnt out on fucking X-Men, and I'm so sick of Hugh Jackman playing the fucking Wolverine. It's fucking ridiculous, man. Seriously. It's just like fuck Iron Man 3. Fuck Marvel. Seriously, the only movies I care about right now is the Amazing Spider-Man trilogy from Marvel. Granted, while I like Marvel more than DC, their movies suck. I remember being let down again and again and again. All their shitty movies, from the Fantastic Four to fucking Thor 2 being highly overrated. I heard Captain America was pretty good. I'm not a big Captain America fan. I might see it eventually. But, Iron Man 3 sucked. I'm a huge Iron Man fan. This movie sucked. This movie sucked. I mean, do not watch this movie. It's not even a good movie to make fun of. When you look at other movies that are shitty, you can at least make fun of them. This movie's not even good to make fun of. It's like you literally just want to kill. You just want to kill this movie. You seriously want to pretend like it doesn't exist. It's just it's like a real bad bowel movement. It's like somebody who ate a bunch of White Castle sliders and a bunch of Mexican and Indian food. and some beans and shit. And you know, all of a sudden they just took like a few hours later, they just took like the biggest dump ever. And it's like, oh my god, what the fuck is wrong with you, you weird freak? What the hell is that shit? It's like that's what Iron Man 3 is to me. It's worse than Batman Forever. It's on that Dragon Ball Evolution level to me. It's on that fucking Ang Lee's Hulk level to me. It's just a piece of shit. It's a piece of fucking shit. It's like the AVGN would say, this movie is a shitload of fuck. You know? This movie really does suck, man. Stay away from this movie. Stay away from Iron Man 2 too, but stay away from this movie. It sucks. The villains in Iron Man 2 and 3 fucking suck. This movie is a fucking abomination. It's a child abortion. It's a nasty, disgusting bowel movement turd. And it just fucking sucks. It's boring as shit. You know, I'm not seeing Iron Man 4. I don't give a shit. I don't care who they put. I don't care. You know, I'm not gonna see Iron Man 4. There better not be an Iron Man 4 after this movie. This movie deserves so much hate. It deserves more hate than anything. This is on that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 level of just abomination in movies. It's on that It's on that Ghost Rider. You know what? This movie is on Ghost Rider. Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider. It's on that level to me. Fuck this movie. Fuck you if you like it.